Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my LinkedIn Lives. I'm Jasmine Navarro, certified wellbeing expert, working with educational institutions and companies, helping them support their family wellbeing challenges. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Eva. Hi, Eva. Thank you for coming.
Hi, Jasmine. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for coming. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. So, hi, everyone. I'm Eva Golan, and I specialize in helping and empowering women to achieve holistic well-being by addressing their health, by addressing their habits, which we're going to talk about, by addressing their lifestyle and seeing where the tweaks can happen in order for them to live a healthier life and reach their goals, whether that's weight loss, whether that's reducing stress and anxiety, whether that's sleeping better, whether that's loving themselves more. So it's just really, really broad and holistic. So through personalized coaching, my clients overcome things like binge eating or improving body image, and they incorporate regular healthy habits into their lives, which lead them to sustainable health and longevity.
Wow, that sounds amazing. And I loved what you said about being holistic, because I think it's always a combination of so many things, isn't it? But I'm so excited to be digging into this topic. And by the way, I've had so many comments and questions about this because I think it's just such a topic that's spoken about right now, isn't it? It's such a hot topic. So you chose the ripple effect, how one positive habit can change your life. Can you tell us what made you choose this for today and what does it mean?
Firstly, I'm so grateful to have seen all these comments and interest in the topic, because for me, sometimes, it may seem simple and easy, but some things that are easy to do are also not easy not to do. Yes. Right? And when something, which we also heard this weekend, and mind valley, right? And it makes perfect sense. And the reason why I chose this topic is because I've seen firsthand how tiny little changes in our habits can lead to huge transformation. And as simple as easy as it can be to do, it's also simply not simple not to do. But when I've seen that transformation in my clients, the ones that I work with, it's just like it blew me away. And also Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books. I don't think I've ever highlighted a book like this. Like, it's literally just all pink. Really? And I just highlighted every single page. So are you a fan as well?
Yeah, no, I've read it as well. Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant. I think habits is everything.
So that's kind of theory, and I've seen the practical implementation of what happens when people actually implement small, tiny changes.
Brilliant. So, where do we start with all of this then? And because you said about small habits, like what kind of habits should we change? Where do we start? I mean, there's just so much, isn't there? Because I think sometimes it can be just hard to start and do something different.
Yes, it's a very good question. So I think firstly, what I would say is, like, where to start is asking yourself, what do you want to change or improve? And now is like this perfect timing, right? Because it's the beginning of the year, it's January. And rather than looking at it's like, okay, New Year's resolution, think about it really, like, what is it that you want to change or improve? But don't stop there, right? That would be the first thing to do. The second thing would be to ask yourself why you want to change that, or why you want to improve, or why you want to add that into your daily routine. Maybe something that you want to remove, like quit smoking, for example, right, as well. So keep asking yourself why is it important until you reach the core, right? So as a coach, the why underneath the why.
Exactly. What about in your experience then? Have you got an example with you, like how changing habits started with you? Like maybe tell us a little bit about your story with habits.
So my story with habits, I would say I think it's been about 5 years where I feel like I have my healthiest, most I'm most proud of the way I am right now, and I know this is a journey and it's not a destination, and I
Yes.
keep learning, and there's ups and downs. But what was a big one for me, and I know it's also a big one for many people, and we also heard Stephen Bartlett talking about this, the Diary of the CEO podcast host, right? He was saying how sleep is so
Oh, yeah.
crucial, and getting enough sleep and quality sleep is just the one thing that's underrated. And and I hear you nodding, and I see you nodding, right? How important it is, because it's like a ripple effect. The same thing. It's like getting enough sleep, getting enough quality sleep sets you up for the day. So for me, that was it. And
Really?
learning how having a consistent sleep routine, going to bed earlier, waking up earlier was just enabled me to improve all the other areas of my life. And I've seen it on my clients as well.
Wow. So that's what you literally started with the sleep. That's what you
I
started
started
with.
with the sleep, yeah. To give another example,
Yeah.
I'm going to use my client example, which is even
Yes.
smaller. She added a reminder to work out on her phone after work, right? So the moment she goes in, she comes back home from work, she's got the reminder, I'm going to work out. And she changes into her workout gear and she's out the door. So that doesn't give her the opportunity to change her mind, like, oh, no, not today, tomorrow, right? So
Exactly. Oh,
that person hasn't worked out in 4 to 5 years. She hasn't moved. And it's just that kind of the sofa became the habit. So she tried to snap out of it by adding that reminder. A month later, she didn't need a reminder anymore. 3 months
wow.
later, she hired a PT. 6 months later, she is obviously transforming her health and her well-being, her energy levels, how she looks, how she feels, everything. And also, she actually felt that by going to the gym, she was going to remove the time that she had to spend with the kids and her husband, which
Yes.
and it's the opposite that happened, because the kids joined her in the gym, so they're having fun, and the mom is working out. And also now she's having a healthy competition with her husband as to like who goes to the gym first,
Wow.
and who stays there the longest. So it's
Wow.
like you see
Yeah.
the ripple effect of that
Yeah.
one tiny little change.
It's
And I'm
amazing, isn't it?
curious,
Sorry. Yeah.
yes, and I'm curious, what's that like for you? Do you have something that striked your sort of memory when you think about one healthy habit that you implemented?
Totally. Yes, I will come on to that in just a second. But I just wanted to say what you said, which I think is such an important thing to mention, is when we try to do something different, we are going to have those voices in our head that's just going to try and think of any reason not to do it.
Oh yeah.
And we really have to be aware of those voices, don't we? To know that this is what comes when we make a change, and it's okay. We can carry on anyway. Because before I knew that, say 5 years plus ago, if I had those voices, then I would listen to them because I would think, oh, this is
Mm.
real. I need to listen to this. But because if you don't know that, you will listen, won't you? So I think,
Yeah. And now we know, right? The voice is just our brain trying to keep us safe from any sort of energy exhaustion, from any, just trying to protect us, basically. Like, oh, why change? Because that takes energy. Change takes energy. Doing something
yes,
different takes energy. And our brain is just trying to preserve energy all the time. So we have to
yeah,
push through that voice and
yes,
push through and say, no, I'm gonna go. But you're right. That's the voice that's
no,
a lot of people, I think, can resonate with that. So
yeah.
yes, I'm curious. What was that for you?
For me, what did I start changing first? I think I think with all the coaching and therapy, that's what helped me because I used to have so much negative self-talk. that was a habit for me, always putting myself down. If something happened, I would always, what did I do wrong? That was like my core thing. What have I done wrong? And I didn't even know I was doing it because it was just there and it had always been there. So it was part of me. But then when I started realizing about that self-talk, that changed everything, because I think when you don't show self-compassion, your actions are the same as well, aren't they? You might not be looking after yourself in a good way either. So when I changed the voice in my head, then I started being more compassionate to myself. So then maybe my sleep improved, eating better, and things like that. But yeah, for me, it was the negative self-talk, which was really causing me, a lot of pain. And I didn't realize, it's without the awareness, it's just. But we have a question. So I just want to say hi to Anna on Instagram. How are you doing? Anna says, how do you recognize when a habit is truly influencing other areas of your life?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. Hard
I
question.
guess then we all have this intuitive gut feeling, right? That sometimes we tap into more, sometimes we tap into less. But when we sit down with ourselves and we ask ourselves, is this serving me? Or is this
Yes.
hindering
Oh, I
my
love that.
well-being? Is that hindering my progress? Is that hindering my health? Is that hindering my progression at work? So this is what I would say: tune in to hear that voice from within, and you will hear it. And if you give us an example of like a habit, then maybe we can work with that a little bit more. But I would say you are your own expert. I always say that.
Yes.
I never really tell my clients what to do. It's just kind of like I ask them to tune in and get the answer sometimes from within by being guided. But it's important always, I really believe that we're all our best health experts. We know what's best for us deep
Oh,
inside. Yeah.
oh, I love that. That's so true. I think actually that is probably one of the best of pieces of advice that I ever received, was listen to yourself, because like you said, our bodies and minds, we're all so different, and what's right for you might not be right for me. So having the confidence to listen to ourselves, and as you said, asking yourself those quality questions, I think you could gain so much from that. And I just want to say hi to Nora, and hi to everybody else who's joining us, by the way. I'm here with Eva, who is a holistic coach, and we are talking about changing your life with implementing positive habits. So if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Nora says, great episode today. Hi, Nora. Lovely to see you. And Nora also says, when we're in a rut or we are falling off the wagon, especially due to sickness, how do we get on track again? What are your tips and tricks? That's a good question, Nora, because we can easily fall off the wagon, can't we? With all different things, life.
Thank you, Nora, for the question. It's a really, really good one. And like you said, especially like after sickness or after a period of indulgence as well, like let's say the holiday period we just ended, right? And we're back in January, and some people just feel like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to feel great. It's the new year. I'm supposed to be the new me, but I don't really feel like it, right? So my advice would be, there's no one thing fits, one thing fits all. You got to find what works for you. Firstly, where I would look at is what brings you joy, what brings you enjoyment, what can you do more of, what's something that you haven't done in a long time, what when you think about it, it's like, oh my God, I really want to do it, right? Because what that does, it puts you, and that's not woo-woo, this is science. We all know the emotion frequency, right, pyramid. And the higher emotions we feel, like happiness and joy and gratitude, the more our bubble, the positive bubble works. And then we feel more like doing other things. So even if you don't feel like working out, even if you don't feel like eating healthy, can you find something that brings you joy? Let's say it could be painting. It could be dancing, it could
Yeah.
be writing, it could be
Yes.
something, just something that, and especially for women, I would say, when that brings out that something that brings out that creativity and femininity in you, I feel like, you're going to get so inspired. And that little thing can then lead you on to, oh, do you know what? Actually, I feel like doing extra steps today. Maybe I'll go to the beach. Maybe I have a hot matcha latte, and maybe I'll meet someone to speak to, and chat to.
Yes.
And that ripple effect that we're talking about is just finding that little thing that's just whether that's your passion, something that you've been putting off for a long time, and you're like, okay, halas, it's time
Brilliant.
to do
No,
it.
I
I hope
loved
that
it.
answers your question.
I think it's brilliant answer ever, because it's all about basically what you're saying is changing your state. When you change your state, that's when you'll make the right decision automatically as well. And Deb says, I have an executive coach and we have just covered all about the inner critic and learning how to be kind to myself. Amazing, amazing. It's all about being kind to ourselves. And hi, Hong Yok, how are you doing? She says, nice to see us. Nice to see you too. And she's in Thailand. This is what I love
Hi.
about doing these lives. We've got everybody from everywhere. And I have another question for you, Eva, because this is such a hot topic. So Jacob, hi Jacob, how are you doing? And he says, which I think is a good question as well. I mean, you've slightly covered it, but what's the hardest part about sticking to a new habit, and how do you overcome it? We've sort of addressed that.
Oh, good. No, that's a really good question. Thank you so much. I think the hardest part is also the easiest part, but maybe not everyone does it. So what I would recommend is really going deep here, and
Yeah,
switch off your phone if you need to, put it on airplane mode, and keep on asking yourself, why is that important to me? What is it that I want to do it? Okay. So that's part number one. I'll give you an example. Okay. So let's say you want to lose weight, but why? Okay. So, okay, so that I can fit in my old clothes. Okay. Why? Why is that important? Well, I'll feel better. Okay. What else? I will have more energy. Great.
yes.
What else? Well, I will be able to play with my kids and my grandkids at the
Wow.
old age. And this is one of the real examples from one of my clients, right? Losing weight is not just something that we want, right? Or reading a book. Why do you want to read a book? Well, I want to educate myself. Why do you want to educate yourself? Well, I want to get a promotion or be an expert in this field or start my own business, right? Why do you want to start your own business? Well, because I want to make my own money, be in charge of my own time, or freedom, la la la. So you see where that's going. The more you ask yourself, why is that important to you? The deeper it will go. And then the second thing is make sure that you place some visual anchors that will help you in your environment, and they will remind you as to why you're doing what you're doing, right? Because
Brilliant. Yeah.
about 50% of everything that's coming through our senses, it's coming through our vision, right? So we got the hearing, got taste, smell, etc. 50% of that is coming through our vision. If you place some objects in your environment, in your home, in your work, that will remind you of your why, you're more likely to stick to it. And trust me on that. And please share with me that anchor, message us on LinkedIn. And if you have a picture of something that's like really motivating you, sometimes it can be like a picture of an old dress, or a picture of your kids, right? Or a picture of a book if you want to publish a book. So something that will just constantly visually remind you why you're doing this. So that will be like the next step. And yeah, it can be something like a wallpaper as well. As long as you don't just ignore it, it's there for 6 months. Okay, it's still there, but just something that you really, really connect to.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Hi, Ahmad. How are you doing? So Ahmad says, we often hear you are what your thoughts are. How would you give your thoughts on this? Because sometimes we often think low about ourselves if we're not able to achieve our targets. How can we realign ourselves? Very good question, Ahmed. Thank you so much. What do you
I
think, Eva?
love that question.
I
And I'm
know.
going to challenge it a little bit, because I don't believe we are what our thoughts are. Our thoughts come and go. And we have, what, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's more to us than thoughts. And there's thoughts and feelings and action, right? These are the three things that really help us determine what's going to happen on the back of the thoughts. So where do the thoughts come from in the first place? The thoughts come from our beliefs. So we have beliefs, then we have thoughts, then we have feelings, and then we have behavior.
Yes.
So what do you believe about yourself to be true, right? That's where we start. If someone says, for example, I'm not good enough, that's a belief, that's in your core, right? Then that turns into a thought. I won't be able to launch my own business, for example, because I'm not good enough, right? So the first thing that we need to address is the belief, because if you believe
Yeah.
that you are good enough, what is your thought going to be? I can do this, right? I can
Yeah.
do this. And the feeling is like excitement. I got this. I can launch my own business. I can do anything, right? That's the core. What I would recommend is focusing on the beliefs, not the thoughts, and
Brilliant.
digging in high. I mean, I'm curious to hear, Jasmine, from you as well. What do you think about this?
Yeah, well, to be honest, yeah, I completely agree, Eva, because basically what you're saying, and which is what I always say to my clients when I'm working with them, is, there's no quick fix. It's not just, okay, I have the magic potion, here you go, everything's going to be okay. It's like you said, we've got to get to the core reason for this behavior. And it is about going back, doing the inner work, and it could be difficult. It's not going to happen overnight, although you never know, it could. But it's about really going back, basically, working on those limiting beliefs that we have, processing the beliefs that we have, letting them go, and it's only then that we can really change. That's the process of change, isn't it? It's not just about willpower. That's why so many people fail with their New Year's resolutions, because they just say, I'm going to do this, but they haven't maybe done the inner work, and willpower is just not enough, because your subconscious is so much stronger than your conscious.
Yeah. And
Completely.
I think one more thing I'd love to add is like, okay, so what if I don't, and what if I have a limiting belief? Well, actually, it's easier than we think to change our inner belief system. But what happens is if we repeat the same thing to ourselves over and over again, right? And it's the thing like, for example, I'm not good enough, then those neurons have been firing and wiring for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they're so strong. And if there are any Dr. Joe Dispenza fans in the room, I would love you to put something in the chat to let me know, because then you'll know what I'm talking about, right? What we need
Yeah.
to do is start firing and wiring new neurons that will overshadow the negative self-talk, right? And the limiting beliefs. And we can do that by, say, for example, saying, this is my old belief. This is what I've been, this is let's say, one of the simplest ways. There's more, obviously, and deeper work that can be done, but we can say,
Yes.
this is my old belief. This is what I used to believe, and it's not serving me anymore. I choose to believe in this instead. And now my new belief is I am good enough, right? And what I do recommend is watching an incredible Disney movie, that my life coach recommended to me, and I've been recommending it since everybody's called Inside Out and Inside Out too. And you're gonna laugh and you're gonna cry and you're gonna understand where all of these thoughts and feelings are coming from, really.
Yeah,
And you're laughing. You've watched it.
I've seen it. Yeah. And I
You've
think
seen it.
I think you're right, actually. And yeah, and I think it's about educating yourself, isn't it? And that film, actually, the cartoon,
Yeah.
it's educational, isn't it? Because it sort of explains it in a real simple way. And that's what we need.
Yeah.
Simple, simple ways. But no, thank you so much, Eva. I have another question. So many questions today because it's such a hot topic. How can a positive habit in your life influence the people around you?
Oh, I
Yeah.
have goosebumps. I have goosebumps. So I'm not sure if you heard my earlier story. I'll just reference it one more time and then I'll think about another example that I can give. But basically, a positive habit, positive intention will always have a positive ripple effect. So, for example, one of my clients never worked out. She then ended up going to the gym, thinking that it would she would be spending less time with her kids and her husband, and the opposite happened because they all started going to the gym with her. And now
Yeah.
she has a healthy competition with her client about who's going to the gym first, who's working out, like putting more effort, etc. So that, and her husband wasn't going to the gym, so she influenced him.
Yes.
She then got herself a PT, so then the PT is also getting a new client, right? Like that ripple effect is, I would
Wow.
say, endless.
Yeah.
And
You help
another
them. Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. But you help them, and then they actually help you
Yeah.
as well. Like you,
Yeah.
yeah.
And another example is one of my other clients started meditating, and
Yeah.
her life was very stressing her horribly, and she started her mindfulness practice, and with that, slowly her relationship with her partner improved, her inner well-being improved, her self-love improved, her relationship with all of her family improved. She stopped caring about what some people say, and like that is just based on really meditating, for example, and really going deeper into that mindfulness practice. So I'm telling you, like that little simple thing can have a huge impact on your life. And meditation personally as well has had a huge impact on my life, and that's a ripple effect that I'm also giving to my clients through that. So don't think about it being too small. I would say just give it a try. Start. There's no better day than today, now, tomorrow, and see how you feel after that. Because that inner voice might be like, don't care. No.
We
Why
will
would
be.
you want to do that? Why? No, go Netflix instead. That's what we've been doing. That's
Yeah,
what we've been
exactly.
doing. It's okay. It's just one episode. But try
It's
and get back to your why. Why is it that you want to change?
brilliant. No, it's amazing what you're saying, because like you said, it's just about starting with one tiny habit which can actually, and it does change your life. And Deb says, we're running out of time, by the way, but last question, I'd say. Deb says, how do you break the emotive hold on your limited beliefs?
Deb,
I mean,
thank you
that's
so much
a
for
question.
asking the question. There's many different methods,
Exactly.
and I would say it really depends on what works for you. During the work that I do with my clients, I use certain methods to help them overcome the limiting beliefs. I would recommend going. It may be uncomfortable because you may have to like take yourself back in memory lane and just kind of be, oh, where did it come from? When was the first time I thought that? When was the first time I felt that?
Yes.
And that's where the deep work starts, and that's where the deep work happens. And there's also books that you can refer to help you with that. I can put
Yeah.
some titles as well on LinkedIn after our call that can help with the education about this topic,
Brilliant.
and with applying the practice as well for yourself if you'd like to do it with yourself.
Amazing. And yeah, no, I think that's brilliant. And also, it's not something that you can just quickly say now, is it? It's a process. It's a process. But no, but that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Deb, for your questions. And Ahmed says we'll definitely look out for that movie. We'll put it in the comments as well. But thank you so much, Eva. It's been amazing. Look, we've had so many questions from all over the world. I don't know how many continents today. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Eva, is there anything else you want to say before we go? And how can people find you?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions. I know how valuable everyone's time is. And where you can find me is you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Eva Golan with a W, just to make it fun for you guys. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, everybody. And Eva, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure. You've inspired me to actually start a new habit. And Deb says, great session. And I will see everybody next week.
Thank you so much.